Brendan Boyle, again, came here in a rather circuitous route. There was a much more direct route, as there was from Carlton to Collins Street. But Brendan, I think 3 days ago you were in Israel, and then you decided to come to Australia via San Francisco for one night and then to here. So there is a shorter way, but we're really pleased you put that effort in. We'll look forward to hearing about some of those experiences in Israel. Brendan Boyle loves to play with cars, and so in his early years he became a mechanical engineer and qualified well in that, and still loves to play with cars. In fact, he loves to play with a lot of things. Brendan has moved on to become a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and a Master of Science from Stanford, and he now works in IDEO as one of the partners in IDEO. IDEO is an amazing organisation and one of the leading innovation firms in the world by independent repute and results. So many patents, so many ideas, and so many products. Brendan has a particular specialisation in consumer products and holds, I think in his own name, about 150 products or patents in that particular field. He loves the field of play and he loves the field of education. Working at the D School at Stanford, we'll hear more about that particular school and his philosophies on education and where education and play intersect. We're really thrilled to have you here, Brendan, and thank you for making the effort.
Well, thank you. It's certainly a pleasure to be here. This is my second time in Australia, so I was looking for reasons to come back. So, yeah, I think I'll talk a little bit about the D School. That's my experience around education. So the D School is started at Stanford 5 years ago from the founder is David Kelly. And the idea was, if you look at Stanford's 7 schools, they're all medicine, law, they're all very deep. Everyone's in the same classroom studying, getting better about their specialty. And so that's big bets on going deep. The idea around the D School was how could we go wide on one case? So let's take a bet looking wide. So you can't just start, for those who are in universities, you just can't start a school that easily. So it's really not a school. It's nicknamed the D School. David named it that, thinking of the business school. It's called the B School, and it has a lot of importance and ranking and things of that nature. So it's actually a Hassel-Plattner, which is the founder of SAP Institute for Design. But we've nicknamed it the D School so much that Hassel calls it the D School. And now our president has been known to call it the D School at Stanford. So that's one way to start a school, just start calling it a school if you want to get around some paperwork. But the idea was the D School is all for grads, it's all elective classes. And it started 5 years ago with 2 or 3 classes, and I think now we're up to 40 classes, 35 classes. And the students come, so I have a class, say 40 students last spring. It's a mixture from all the different schools, which is really interesting if you think about putting everyone together. So they're learning their different disciplines. And this is one of the tenets of design thinking is multidisciplinary teams. So everything is project-based and everything is team-based, which is, I think, an exciting way for people to attack problems. Design thinking is really what the D School's methodology is about, and that's a human-centered based approach to solving problems. So that is at the core, and you could call design thinking a way of creative team solves problems. So what's really great to see in my class and other classes is that folks are discovering their creative confidence in a way. They take a class, it's hands-on, they're on a team, they go out and understand, get inspiration in the world with users, come back, create a point of view, then ideate all sorts of possibilities, and then prototype real-world solutions. And that's really a wonderful thing to have students experience if they haven't had that sort of taste of being wildly creative before. So the D School is growing at a really fast pace. We just moved into a new building last year. Well, it's a combination of some buildings that we modified at Stanford. You won't see any classrooms like this. This is a very traditional classroom where there's usually one person lecturing and looks like a classroom out there taking notes. Everything's modular, so things can move around. Furniture can roll out of the way, so it can be used as project space, which is pretty key. And then thinking about a multidisciplinary group of students, one of the other tenets is you'll have a multidisciplinary teaching team. So it's not just one person teaching a class. It's usually a team. If you think about one person, sometimes if you've been on the student role, it's been a while for a lot of us to be on the student role, you may not have gotten along with that professor, or may disagreed with your raising your hand. It's really wonderful to see the faculty start to argue amongst themselves, and then the students will come in and sort of fuel that, which is really neat. One of the other things we always do after each class is to have a debrief. So the teaching team will sit, and then any students that want to come in and sort of join how that class went. And we usually like to get feedback with 2 simple questions, and I encourage you to try these. What did you like, which is an easy one to answer, because it's easy to give people praise, like, oh, I love the guest lecture you brought in, I love the hands-on exercise. Or what did you, and then the second question was just really great, what do you wish for? Which is in a positive way. Well, I wish you hadn't talked so much, Brendan, or I wish it had been more interesting, or that guest speaker put 3 of the students to sleep. So then you can incorporate that feedback almost immediately and try to tweak the class for next time, and the students feel much more involved. A typical class is project-based. There'll be 3 or 4 big projects throughout the quarter. We're still on the quarter system at Stanford, so it's a 10-week quarter. And then each class might have a little bit of lecture, but there's usually a hands-on component, either in the beginning or afterward, to sort of demonstrate those principles. The classroom, again, is set up so we can move things around. There's a lot of prototyping materials everywhere, video or computers or everything sort of right there, so you can just move off to the corner and start working on one of your concepts and bringing it to life.